So boys, so I was getting my coffee this morning. Checked the market, it was 149. It's outside. A couple of minutes later, checked the market as I was picking up the coffee, about to go into the office, 143. So obviously I knew then it was going to be a hectic day. So straight away from the open, right, what we can take from it is that the league started to gain. And what we immediately have to go to is switch to leave mode. Now, leave mode is not really on the front of everyone's mind, but quickly everyone got used to what's potentially happening. So flipping back to where the pound was potentially going to break to, what we got through to was that 138 level is going to be critical. Immediately on the first move, we got down to 142. And then the second move did find support at 140. All right, and then we had a big retracement as some of the London suggested maybe that the Remain was clawing back, but eventually it became apparent that the Leaves were winning certain key districts, okay, and key counties, and this time when it really rolled over, we saw the real action. Now, the break of 138 opened 135. I was surprised that we got below 135 so easily. And then it started Europe, obviously, that came out. Alright, so Cameron came out, then Carney came out, Swiss National Bank came out. Everyone's just there trying to help, stabilize the market. And we've got some stabilization. We've got a pretty big bounce here, all the way nearly to 140. Didn't get quite to 140 though, and we have rolled over now. So, this is probably going to be the next leg lower. You've been waiting for the buyers to run out of steam and the sellers to come through. The US session is probably going to be pretty brutal on the pound. You would think so. If you're not in already, you might just want to be waiting here on the side. I sold a little bit at 139, just waiting now to see the follow through on this sort of action. I thought it was pretty safe selling up towards 139. I knew that it was not going to be easy to pick a top in a market like this. There's nothing really that can be said though that can soften this. Right, this is going to be brutal for the UK for the next couple of weeks while the uncertainty reigns. So it's very hard to get a sustained rally. There's always going to be a little pop and drop. So the market's rolled over. I think that we'll probably test at least the lows again in the coming days. I don't know about tonight. I mean, look, I can't give you advice because when I'm not there with the market, so many variables at the moment. Why the market's rallying, who comes out, who says what. What's the G8 going to do? What's the Fed going to do? How the market reacts to this is going to be key. Selling dollar yen was the favored way, but that big bounce that we did get and the BOJ sort of rate checks there does sort of lead me to be a little bit hesitant. But because the dollar yen has the extra category of being related to the stock market, keep an eye on the stocks as well. If US is going to be brutal, which is harder to say. US is not really part of Europe in that straight sense. How the US investors react to this today is going to be key. If we rally, if we regain most of these losses, so say we end up, say, 17.6, that would be incredible and change my opinion on how we're going to play this going forward. If we test new lows, right, then perhaps they're going to be playing the same game as Europe, and it makes it a little bit easier to predict what's happening. But the US, US investors have been able to shrug off some pretty amazing stuff. They shrugged off the China stuff. They shrugged off a lot of the Greece stuff as well. So let's see if they can shrug off this. This is not the end of the world, but it is incredibly uncertain what's going to happen next in terms of the UK and if there's going to be contagion. So you'd think there'd be a fair bit of selling coming through, but if it's not, if it's contained, then that means we're going to swap away from the dollar yen side of playing and stick straight to the majors. So pound straight low. So how does it play over to the other pairs? Well, oil is under pressure, so one of the best commodity currencies to be hitting up is long dollar CAD. Right, dollar CAD has been quite quite strong. I mean, Canadian dollar has been very strong. It has a lot of room to move to the top side, and so if things unravel here, I think dollar CAD can definitely be one of the big movers. Aussie is always related to risk, but it's already fallen a fair bit further than the others. I sort of do like selling the Kiwi. I hadn't actually looked at the Kiwi yet on the daily or the 4 hour, but the Kiwi is heavily bought, yeah, and heavily long. So the reversals here are going to catch more people out. So if we can get some risk off selling, you'll see it will sort of mimic what the stock market's doing. So it depends really on the US stock whether we get involved in selling the Kiwi. But I imagine so. I imagine so. This is if you're looking for things which are not directly related to the pound. Pound's obviously the cleanest. Yeah, so look, it's actually looking quite nicely on the downside since we opened this talk. Yeah, what potentially is the next thing is, um, how the smaller countries that basically any country coming up with some sort of election, general referendum or general election, one of the parties can run on the same ticket that the Conservatives ran on in the UK and say we're going to have a referendum on the EU membership. From what I've heard, there's already one out of the Dutch Parliament who wants to have a referendum. But you can see that the anti-immigration rhetoric moving throughout the whole of Europe definitely is giving the right wing and the anti-EU people a lot of leverage. Remember, in France, is that there's a right-wing party there that's got a lot of votes at the moment. So, it is a critical test coming up for the Eurozone. We've had a critical test in terms of the debt crisis, but this is more of a political crisis. How the contagion happens is whether this turns from a small problem into a huge problem. I mean, it's not a small problem at the moment, but a containable problem to an uncontainable problem. Right, Euro got dragged down, not dramatically. Yeah, it has held 110 for now. You'd expect though, if the pound's going lower, that the euro will go low as well. And this is one of if the contagion story picks up, then this is how you're going to play it: straight euro short. The Swiss National Bank, when I was talking about earlier, they came through and did an intervention. That helped stabilize the market. Okay, so you did get that big bounce off 106 all the way to 108. So we were talking yesterday and on Wednesday as well. How do we play safely? This pair. We were long the Euro Swiss, and so worst case scenario, if you didn't get out as the market turned down here, because you had a little bit of time here, almost an hour, where these trades would have been a profit if you'd entered early to change your mind, and even then we did get that rebound as the S&B came out. I mean, it's not confirmed, but it's pretty certain that was them. And so that was, that confirms it's another safe, pretty way play to this. Keep that in mind next time it's a Euro-specific problem or maybe a pound problem. If it comes to another big vote, then look to the Euro Swiss as a pretty safe way of longing risk. Okay, so what have we covered here? Pretty much, what are we looking for? We're looking for the start of the US session. We're looking for the stock market reaction there. And then we're picking which way to play short pound. Either short pound if the stock market's okay, or short pound yen if the stock market's not. Quite a big week though. Someone was asking me about the DAX earlier. Quite a big move at the start, yeah. That's over 1,000 pips. I bought down the bottom there, hoping for a rally. I didn't hold the whole rally, but it was pretty easy to see 9.4 coming through, and so that sort of resistance there is where I got out. I don't think it's going to do well. All right, so if you're looking to buy, I'll reconsider that. Yeah, DAX has the ability to overextend dramatically. Yeah, the way that when it starts to punch, and it doesn't usually just reverse without some sort of solution to the to what's going on here, and because it's going to be a slow burn contagion effect from this Brexit to those other countries, it's not going to be like tomorrow we find out if the Eurozone has any issues. That will be a continual reason to sell. I mean, you always got ECB potentially coming out and doing something, but just in the short term, we're talking the next couple of weeks, I would fancy a retest of those lows from the whole Deutsche Bank and VW sell-offs. So, down towards 8.8, 8.7. But it is longer term one of the best ways I think to play equities. But just how it plays out in the next couple of days, don't be looking to buy dips, I don't think, just yet. It's the fastest mover, so obviously if it overextends too much, right, you can, but where would you buy this time? Keep an eye out on US stocks. Obviously, if they stabilize, you might be able to get some sort of risk reward here. But US stocks are down 500 points, and Dow Jones anyway, and the DAX is down double that relative, percentage wise. So yeah, look, to whoever was asking me about that before. Yeah. I mean, that's not even that hard, Trade Wizard. It's a beast when it starts to roll down. See, the Bank of England won't intervene directly with buying the pound. They will intervene directly with supplying liquidity. Yeah, that's the main way you can imagine them doing it. I mean, maybe at 120 they'll buy the pound, right? But not now. It's not end of the world stuff. Euro pound, maybe 90. So we've got some movement. We've got some big, we've got some big resistance up here. Breaking that, maybe will spark that. You got dollar yen being protected underneath 100, so pound yen's not going to go off the roof. So yeah, I mean, looking for low 120s if you're thinking about direct bank intervention. There's no reason for them to do that. They just want to let the market find a stable. It's not too much further, right? 1 to 120. Let the market find a floor. Let it start to rally. Let the weak US dollar say from a hesitant Fed now, because the Fed's going to be very hesitant now. Don't worry about that. Let the weak Fed's just going to love this. They're just going to eat this up. They're not raising rates probably this year. That's something we'll talk about next week. But let the market find its own support. Let the weak US dollar take over. Then a natural rally is a much stronger rally, sustainable rally. So it might get to 120, might get to 125, money might get to 130. Cutting rates is definitely on the cards for UK. Yeah, that's if that's what you meant. Pocket. I don't know how to say your name, friend. Sorry. Cutting rates would be one way of stimulating and also supporting the currency. Maybe even to zero, right? That would really help. Carney's a bit aggressive. I mean, Carney's a bit out of the box, right? He might do anything. But the fact he came out so quickly and stabilised today, that was a good sign by him. He'll be speaking a lot this week, next week, sorry. But you can't change the reality on the ground that you are going to get some selling coming through. So I mean, look, it's relatively simple to play. Unless something changes dramatically, you're selling rallies on the pound if they try and talk it up. If you're a bit cautious here, what you're looking for is for the next little rally to fail. Okay? Ideally below 138. Yeah, so that would make you a little bit more confident with the trade, yeah? If the next little rally fails. And that could coincide with the start of the US session where the US traders want to have their cut, right? They want to have their fun as well. Usually each session wants to have their go. Right, so look, that's the way I'll be playing it. It's been a big week though. I don't know if I'll be trading the US session tonight. There's nothing wrong with also just stepping out and just watching. If the pound doesn't drop within the first couple of hours, probably I would just close out all my shorts and then look to re-establish next week. In terms of leaving trades open over the weekend as well, you may want to be careful on that, because it could be some sort of proactive joint central bank announcement. Low chance, yeah, low chance, but definitely possible. So they're definitely going to try and stabilize the market, right? If they can get something, if they can get the shit together for this weekend, then potentially they could do that. Um, yeah, so I wouldn't be holding shorts over the weekend. Any effect on the euro of carney cuts? Yeah, I mean, it can't help. I doubt it would help the euro. Carney cutting, I mean, it might be smacking a little bit of desperation too. Really, you got to just watch the way the market develops here in terms of contagion. There's nothing yet, really. But something concrete might come soon, and then the market will focus on it like a hawk. I'll have to even find out myself. I haven't heard about it yet. Maybe Portugal or Greece or someone wants to leave now that it looks like it's possible. Alright, guys. Look, sorry about being a little bit late today. I was late from work, but I'll probably end that here now. If you do have any questions, leave them here. I might answer in chat. Otherwise, we'll have a proper session next Monday. Might turn on some music and just check the research here. So if you want to stick around for that, you can.
Durs, I am the better beatboxer.
Blake, your beatbox is a weak box.
Oh, Blake, you gonna let him talk to you like that? You better battle back.
Yeah.
Now?
Yep.
No, not now. I mean, I have to, like,
Okay,
warm up.
so-
I would need hot tea.
Oh.
It's just a whole process.
Beatbox, Blake!
Let's go.
Okay, just let me put the record on.
Oh, Durs, is it too hot to handle? Hit us with it.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Well, I'm about to turn in, kids. What are you gonna do? We're gonna party, Daddy! Party, Daddy! Party, Daddy!
Okay.
It's too hot in here. Blake, hit him with it.
Okay.
Oh, that was a goddamn Looney Tunes.
Adam, we're not that good.